You are listening to Western Iowa's information leader, KCIM. I'm Nathan Cones, here with your midday news for Tuesday, February 6th, 2024. A switch-gear fire on a ground transformer caused power outages for 576 customers on Monday in Carroll. The component fire began just shortly before noon on the electrical unit located on Highway 30 near the Collins Aerospace Building. The outage affected customers in the area for about 30 minutes or so, and all but two customers had their power fully restored within that half-hour time frame. The couple remaining businesses without power were restored later in the day. It was quite an impressive piece of work by the Mid-American crews as they needed to fully dismantle that damaged transformer, replace and install new equipment before they restored power, and that was done extremely quickly. So just a quick shout out to those crews for getting power back on as we were affected here at your Carroll broadcasting stations. Looking elsewhere, the Carroll County Cattlemen's Association is excited to announce a new program to help local youth start their careers in livestock production. Brett Grave with the association says it's an aggressive initiative to reduce barriers young people face when starting their herds.
New for this year, what we're going to call the Beef Builders Program. It's going to be for a young individual or a few individuals. We haven't decided yet, but basically it's going to be a $7,500 interest-free loan to start a beef herd, whether they want to do it with a breeding cattle or market animal. They can do that, and it's basically 5 years interest-free to get them started.
The Beef Builders program was developed in response to declining applications for the Cattlemen's Annual Scholarships and fewer young people joining the industry. It isn't a lack of interest in raising beef that is the problem. Cody Erickson says the high financial barrier to entry is holding entrepreneurial youth back from taking their first steps into becoming a cattleman.
There's kids out here that want to be involved, but they don't have the finances to do it, nor maybe their parents have the finances to help that kid out, So we're just kind of here to help hopefully get somebody's dream started and keep it building in their right direction.
Graves says the application criteria are quite easy for those interested in participating in the new program.
Basically, the qualifications are 12 to 25 years of age, so there's a lot of individuals out there that could probably use it.
Applications are tentatively scheduled to open during the Carroll County Cattlemen's Annual Banquet on February 24th, and they'll close on June 1st. The winner or winners are expected to be announced sometime this summer. Erickson and Graves say they expect the Beef Builders program to be highly competitive, and they look forward to its impact on the local beef community. The Carroll City Council's second budget work session is planned for tomorrow evening. The council convenes at 5:15 p.m. at Carroll City Hall to review what city staff have prepared so far for the fiscal year 2025 budget. On Monday evening, the council heard from Carroll Police Chief Brad Burke and Public Works Director Randy Kral regarding their respective departments' proposed budgets, and Finance Director Laura Schaefer also provided a breakdown of current fund balances. Officials anticipate estimated expenditures, including transfers, of just over $30 million in FY25. The proposed total levy for FY25 is expected to decrease slightly from $12.16844 per $1,000 of taxable assessed valuation to $12.16046. Wednesday's work session is open to the public and will be live streamed via the City of Carroll YouTube channel. Links to the agenda, video, as well as the 298-page preliminary budget are included with this story on our website. And Governor Kim Reynolds issued an order yesterday to lower flags to half-staff in honor of former Iowa Secretary of Agriculture Bill Northey. Northey served in that role from 2007 to 2018 for the Iowa Department of Ag before serving as Undersecretary for Farm Production and Conservation for the USDA from 2018 to 2021 under the Trump administration. Reynolds says Northey was a great leader whose work ethic and passion for Iowa agriculture was unmatched, and Iowans and farmers were fortunate to have such a rock-solid advocate and friend. Reynolds ordered flags to be lowered to half-staff immediately, and they'll remain lowered until sunset on the day of Northey's funeral, which is still pending at this time. Flags will be flown at half-staff on the state capitol building, Capitol complex, and on all public buildings, grounds, and facilities throughout the state. Reynolds encourages individuals, businesses, schools, municipalities, and other government subdivisions to fly flags at half-staff for the same length of time as a sign of respect. And we do need to step away here for just a moment. We'll have more from Iowa elected officials regarding Bill Northey's death coming up here, along with other news here in the second half of your newscast. We'll be right back. You're listening to KCIM.
It seems like the cost of everything is going up, so it's nice to save a little dough when you can, especially for something you love to eat every day. Before I go grocery shopping, I print out a coupon for $1 off any Country Hearth, Village Hearth, or Artisan Hearth bread product. My favorite is Dakota Style 12 grain. My wife's breakfast go-to is a toasted Village Hearth English muffin. We can save $1 on each. Go to countryhearthbreads.com/coupons and print 1 or 2 out before your next shopping trip. And don't forget, Country Hearth, Village Hearth, and Artisan Hearth bread products are baked locally and delivered fresh daily.
Refresh yourself in the new year with Pringer Slumberland and their mattress event. Matt, this sale is awesome.
Yeah, right now we're happy to introduce Purple, and with that we're going to save you up to $400 on select Purple mattresses. We're also happy to introduce our new 365-day mattress guarantee. Pretty much you get to sleep on your bed for a full year, and any time from the first 30 days to the end of the year, you can let us know if it's not working out for you, whatever it may be, to make sure that you're getting the best night's sleep possible.
Come check out the brand new Purple mattresses and see store for great details and savings. Pringer Slumberland, 1318 Highway 30 West in Carroll.
Welcome back to KCIM's Midday News. I'm Nathan Cones reporting. Iowa officials released statements Monday memorializing former Iowa Secretary of Agriculture Bill Northey following his death at the age of 64. Again, Northey served as Iowa Secretary of Agriculture from 2007 to 2018 before leaving that position to become Undersecretary for Farm Production and Conservation for the U.S. Department of Agriculture during the Trump administration. Reynolds says Bill was a great leader whose work ethic and passion for Iowa agriculture was unmatched. Iowans and farmers around the country were fortunate to have such a rock-solid advocate and friend. Bill understood well our responsibility to be good stewards of the land and exemplified the calling throughout his career. Senator Chuck Grassley says the Iowa farm community lost a giant. Bill Northey was a dear friend and fierce advocate for the family farmer. As Iowa Secretary of Agriculture and Undersecretary for Farm Production and Conservation at the U.S. Department of Agriculture under President Trump, Bill's commitment to agriculture, biofuels, and conservation were unmatched. Senator Joni Ernst released a similar statement saying, throughout his career as a farmer, leader in key agricultural organizations, Iowa Secretary of Agriculture and U.S. Department of Agriculture Undersecretary, he was a steadfast advocate for the producers that feed and fuel our world. He helped establish Iowa as a national leader on key initiatives, including ethanol and the nutrient reduction strategy, while always remaining grounded and connected to his family farm in Dickinson County. I was thankful to work with him closely during my time in the Iowa Senate and the U.S. Senate on the issues that matter most to our farmers. Current Iowa Secretary of Agriculture Mike Nagg says he loved Iowa and he loved Iowa agriculture. His curiosity, care for others, and love of learning made him a leader that everyone could admire. Bill brought a farmer's work ethic to every aspect of his life, and he was tireless in promoting our state, its people, and our agriculture. State Auditor Rob Sands says, Bill Northey always treated people with kindness, and despite disagreements, I never doubted his commitment to public service for his love for the state we both called home. And that's, again, just a few statements that were released by Iowa elected officials and business leaders in the industry following former Iowa Secretary of Agriculture Bill Northey's death on Monday. Senator Joni Ernst was in Audubon over the weekend, holding a town hall for community members to voice concerns and get questions answered. A majority of that hour was spent discussing security at the southern border. The $118 billion proposed package announced recently includes funding for Ukraine, Israel, and other U.S. allies, and additional funding to provide more resources to assist the Department of Homeland Security in removing the catch and release procedures currently in place. Ernst says the Biden administration wants to pump more money into the border, which Ernst says is not enough.
We wanted to see actual changes to the law addressing the border. We can't just keep doing same old stuff. So what we have at the border right now is about 10,000 people per day that are illegally coming over the border. In the bill, it does change the threshold for applying for asylum in the United States. Because right now, everybody is coached, come to the border, say you want asylum, you're under threat in your home country, and you automatically get caught and turned out into the United States. And you're given a court date to appear 5 to 10 years later. And over 80% of those that are turned loose in the United States don't ever show up for their court dates.
Ernst says the bill will force more restrictions when immigrants apply for asylum in the U.S.
There's this number of 5,000 a day. That's not 5,000 turned into the United States every day. That means 5,000 apprehensions at the border every day. They are detained at the border. So that's why there's funding for detention beds. And they actually have to go through the asylum paperwork process right then and there and be adjudicated. If they have to have a true asylum claim, and you have to be able to prove when you come to the border, or you're not released into the United States.
Ernst says there will be a lot of changes if the bill is passed. She's specifically addressing the need for more detention centers.
Once we fill all those 5,000 beds at the border shuts down until people can be processed. That means if we have to shut the border down for a week, 2 weeks, a month, it's shut down and people don't come into the United States, period. They don't get to come in, they don't get to file asylum paperwork, bottom line. So it's kind of you take 5,000 people in, you start processing them as they're detained, and then those that can't come in, it's basically the Remain in Mexico policy that President Trump had. So they'd have to stay in Mexico. We're not going to take them in and we're not going to process the paperwork.
The border bill will be discussed and voted on this upcoming week. However, there's strong opposition in the House of Representatives to the Senate proposal, which makes passing the legislation in Congress questionable, if not impossible. And the Iowa's Governor Traffic Safety Bureau and law enforcement agencies are partnering to encourage fans to celebrate Super Bowl 58 safely. The statewide initiative emphasizes the responsibility of both hosts and attendees to prevent drunk driving incidents on game day. With the theme, Fans Don't Let Fans Drive Drunk, statistics reveal a concerning trend with an average of 8 people killed or seriously injured each week in Iowa over the past 5 years due to crashes involving impaired drivers. Nationally, approximately 37 people lose their lives daily in accidents related to drunk driving. As Super Bowl 58 is set for February 11th, the GTSB urges individuals to plan ahead with a safe celebration. Whether designating a driver, offering non-alcoholic beverage options, or arranging alternative transportation, the emphasis is on preventing the severe consequences associated with impaired driving. The GTSB collaborates with various organizations to implement strategies and initiatives to reduce road fatalities and injuries in Iowa through federally funded grants. As of February 5th, Iowa has already recorded 16 traffic fatalities this calendar year. That figure is 36% below last year's figures and 24.8% below the 5-year average, and law enforcement is pushing to keep the trends moving in that right direction. And that is going to be wrapping up your KCIM Midday News for Tuesday, February 6th, 2024. For these stories and many more, check us out online by following us on Facebook and X, on the web at 1380kcim.com, or through the Carroll Broadcasting mobile app. I'm Nathan Cohns reporting.